Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of what if Naruto was neglected by his mother for his younger sister guys. Remember to get this 1 to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new series over an anime prints of what if Naruto was the strongest hero in My Hero Academia, and enjoy that guys. And also guys, over on Anime King 3, I posted a brand new episode of What if Naruto had his memories and powers awakened on the Land of Wave Bridge guys. So go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember for new, yes I did have 4 channels and making 2 and making 3 and anime prints which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family, and thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode starts now guys. So the last spot we left off, Minato Namikaze sat in his office as he waited for his son. His eldest son, Naruto Namikaze. Naruto's life has not been easy in any way. For one thing, the family was all good and perfect before. His mother got pregnant once again with his now little sister Kimiko. The problem was, they attacked caused Hiruzen to seal the 9 tails inside Kimiko. And since then, Kushina did not let her out of her sight. As because of that burden which Kushina knew so well, she started to focus every single thing on Kimiko, leaving Naruto by himself. However, he never complained or said anything, so he started to drift in the background as he wasn't really focused on that much anymore. Minato was busy trying to get the village back to perfect standings after the Nine Tails attack, so they hardly had time for their son. As Naruto simply took to the libraries. He took to his father's study in libraries as he started to learn. As Naruto was then placed under the tutelage of Orochimaru of the Sannin, who saw something inside the child. However, today marked the day that the Sannin was gonna die. Orochimaru has betrayed the village. As Naruto brought the information, Naruto, Anko, and Anvus were sent to capture the former Sannin or kill him. As Naruto made his way out there, and he told Orochimaru that his father knew everything about him, what he was doing, Orochimaru told Naruto to get back in, as he was going to be leaving first. However, Naruto attacked him. As Orochimaru realized that Naruto was betraying him, he also said that Naruto's appetite for learning was far greater than his, and he was far worse. To hear that coming from someone like Orochimaru, you know it was bad. However, Naruto seemed so calm about it as they fought. Their fight was brutal and deadly. However, Orochimaru made a mistake. He had experiment on Naruto's body, dulling his pain receptors and also increasing his natural healing ability. That made this fight rather even one as they clashed violently. As Naruto, Anko, and Anbu stay out of it, as he brutally clashed with Orochimaru. The battle was epic. Orochimaru ended up summoning Manda. However, Manda refused to help him, saying that he would not kill the future summoner. Orochimaru was rather pissed off at that as Manda tried to swat him with his tail before he poofed away. As Naruto was going to take his place, Orochimaru was livid. However, Naruto clashed with him, and in the end Naruto used his blade to puncture Orochimaru before the blade exploded. A kamikaze explosion that eviscerated everything. The only thing that was remaining once the explosion died down was the head of the Sannin. Jiraiya arrived. As he looked towards the ground as he asked, was there not another way? However, Naruto said no. Jiraiya then proceeded to punch Naruto. Anko was about to lash out, but Naruto stopped her. They had spent a lot of time together with Orochimaru there. As Orochimaru While he was cold, Jiraiya thought of him as his friend, someone very close to him, and seeing that this snake Sanin was dead like this, well, as Naruto made his way back, there was only one person that could fix him up rather well, and that was Rin, former student of his father, as Naruto made his way towards her to get fixed up. With that, Orochimaru the Sanin was defeated as Naruto was given more rights as he was put in charge of the scientific development inside of Konoha. However, there was a secret lair that Naruto went to visit, as this was the first place that Orochimaru took him. When he told him about several things that got Naruto changing for maybe the better or maybe for the worse. However, he was not the same child that he once was. Different goals, different mindsets. There was a lot of things that was different about him. However, most people did not know that. There was a virus that broke, a strange clan that was coming into the land of fire, as it was up to Naruto and his team to get rid of it. As they did their research, as Naruto found out that the virus was in the packaging, in the bloodline, they were subconsciously using it. Kabuto went to give his report to the Hokage under Naruto tutelage. Kabuto was always playing a little trick, just like cats that they always leave dead mice, or birds at their master's pillow or something like that. Kabuto gave his master opportunity. As Naruto was one of the leading figures in the scientific department, and yet his office was rather small, and they were counting on his help to stop this virus, and yet they didn't want to fund his master, so Kabuto was upset. So he made the Hokage feel worse when he ever asked about Naruto, as Kabuto enjoyed torturing him mentally. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the play, check it out for yourself, and we'll begin this new episode guys. Naruto was looking in a microscope next to him, and also scribbling in a notebook. The pathogen was much more resilient than he thought, and it looked like they hit a dead end. Was there no way to kill this damn bacteria? It was almost like it instantly adapted to whatever anti-agent it was subjected to. Still no results, said Kabuto as he appeared. As Kabuto was right there, with a petri dish of the bacteria, as they were placing it within the oven to higher the temperature to see the bacteria growing faster. None, said Naruto. It's either adapting or multi-resilient, and not finding any solutions at the moment. So you will wait until the teams give their suggestions? Kabuto asks, as Naruto nodded. I'll keep mapping the bacteria out, but I'll wait for suggestions. There is always something you've missed. That last word was what separated Orochimaru from Naruto. The both of them were certainly infused with the knowledge of science. However, Naruto focused on the human mind forgetfulness, absent-minded, or clumsiness. He took all of that as a personal insult. You must always check everything to make sure that everything went okay. To make sure that everything is calculated to the last decimal. To make sure that everything is on the right chart, everything. Those samples won't grow by themselves, said Naruto. Kabuto snapped out of his glance as he quickly made his way. That was another thing. If one did not perform the fullest while they were working with him, they will be held to pay. So, what did the Hokage say? Naruto asked after a few seconds. Ah yes, Hokage-sama was pleased, Kabuto said, his lips curving up into a smile. He wanted me to pass on his thanks for our hard work. Not that, said Naruto. I'm not stupid. What did he say? Kabuto dropped the facade. He asked me how you were doing, sensei. And you said, Naruto, as he was still looking through the microscope, that without a family to distract you, you could dedicate all of your time to this. As Naruto let out a snort of amusement. Let me guess, you tried to guilt trip him, did you not? It was all for the good of the department, sensei, Kabuto said, pushing back his glasses with a crooked smile on his lips. As Naruto turned towards him. You didn't think I would have problems manipulating my own father for funding? As the sensei started to smile, Kabuto started to feel nervous. Did I speak falsely, sensei? He asked, trying to keep his cool. After all, your estrangement between them is well known, and it's not like they've tried to reconcile with you, have they? Kabuto wondered had he miscalculated somewhere. He was certain that he had saw his father in a less favorable light. Is that all? Said Naruto, as he was focusing on Kabuto rather intensely. Not at all, Kabuto said, remembering one of the things that made him really nervous. We are badly underfunded and overworked, something you can bring up during the negotiations for funding. Also, the guilt might make him more malleable for other suggestions and perhaps call off other investigations into your work. As Naruto then turned back around, as he looked back in the microscope as he spoke up, "Keep up the good work, Kabuto. With a little work, this department might just grow." "Thank you, Sensei," Kabuto said with a small bow. It seems like his sensei was okay with what he did. As he looked back towards the oven, his sensei just liked to keep people on their toes, to remind them not to get sloppy. Any thoughts of trying to outplay his superior, Kabuto had done that with his Jonin sensei and his academy teachers, yet he could never do that to this man in front of him. He was too different from everyone else. Naruto, on the other hand, glanced towards Kabuto. The boy was a prize. He was sharp, clever, all at once. Someone like that you can take to great heights and expect nothing but good results. Also, Naruto had enough clout to take a personal apprentice. That was something that he could think about for sure. The doors were then thrown open. "Midarashi Anko has arrived," said Anko as she stepped in. A big smile plastered on her face as Naruto ignored her and focused on the microscope. However, she came over and pulled away from him as he was forced to turn back towards her with a sigh. "I think I spilled some infected blood where your arm is located," said Naruto. Of course it was a lie. However, if you were going to get rid of her, you have to have a preemptive strike. Anko had fought the blood users, and she knew what their blood could do. Her eyes shot open wide in a second as she pulled back and tore off her cloak to get the blood cloak off her skin, as she was only wearing a fishnet shirt underneath. As Anko's horrified look started to intensify until she noticed Naruto, as he was leaning, his face on his hand with a smile on his face, as Kabuto was trying his best not to laugh. "You're a dick, you know that," said Anko. As some of the other scientists turned, and they were rather interested by her type of clothing, well, lack of there. As Anko picked up the cloak. "Was there anything special you wanted?" said Naruto. This was one of the hobbies that he had, to annoy and trick Anko. It amused him greatly. Anko flipped him off and slapped him over the head. "When are you done here?" she said, adjusting her coat. "It's my birthday, and I want someone to booze with." No, that wasn't what Naruto was expecting. Anko was an orphan by the 3rd grade Shinobi War, and by virtue, fellow apprentice. Just like Naruto, so he could say that he was close with the woman, but still, he didn't expect her to ask this. "What about Kurenai?" said Naruto, thinking of the red-eyed Jonin that Anko had befriended some time ago. "Any of your teammates?" Anko rolled her eyes. "Kurenai got her ass full with studying, and she will drag books to go and booze. And besides, she's a lightweight. And alongside me being Orochimaru apprentice, half of those I could drag along would expect me to poison them." "Is that so?" said Naruto. He really didn't want to leave his work. He has made some good progress so far. An Anko way of drinking doesn't leave much space for anything other than passing out in the alley. "What about the other half?" he asked. She gave him a rather sour look. "Well, I'm asking you, now, for the love of Kami. You've been holed up in here for weeks. I've hardly even seen you. Is it too much to ask that you come and drink with me on my birthday?" she said. "Very well," said Naruto. "Does beginning at 8 work for you?" he asked. A big smile came in her face as she slapped him on the back. "Good," she said. "Mob is at 8. Be there." As she turned with a swirl before she made her way. Anko would probably never change. Bipolar. Kind of sadistic. Hedonistic. She was in many ways the polar opposite. However, he could not deny she was skilled at what she did. Orochimaru had molded her to be a warrior, a fighter, a killer, and that is what she was. And after the Kyuubi incident, Naruto, apprenticeship to Orochimaru, and with Anko being there with her cheekiness and witty attitude, that was one of the things that made him keep his morals. After all, being away from everyone that you grew up to know, being with the snake Sunning, if it wasn't for Anko, he was sure that he would have been a lot worse than what he is right now. As irritated as she might be at time, he still appreciated her a lot. Time skip. Minato Namikaze felt like a scumbag as he closed his door, leaving the office as he made his way. Minato did not believe that the young assistant had meant to be harsh. From what he's seen and from what he's heard, Kabuto was harmless, a socially awkward bookworm who didn't have a malicious bone in him. Yet his comment had cut Minato down to the bone. With no family, those words kept on echoing in his head. It hadn't been the comment itself though. It was the things that Minato recognized from that comment. Many things came together. Things that he heard around the villagers, whispers. For one, many people referred to Kimiko as the Hokage's child, with many more titles. At first he thought that it was just a praise to her, but he didn't think so anymore. When he looked upon his other son, was this how Naruto was perceived in Konoha these days? That he was ostracized from his family and cut off from it, no longer a part of it? Did Konoha see him as a black sheep of the Namikaze family? Orochimaru was never popular in the village. He was considered rude, ruthless, and inconsiderate. Minato thought that he saw something different in Orochimaru though. That is why he gave Naruto to him, as a way for Orochimaru to prove himself. Yet now, his son was tainted by guilt of association with Orochimaru. Had it gone so far that people believed that he ostracized his son, put him into a dead-end employment to keep him occupied and under control? Minato knew that the science division was considered the lowest in Konoha division. Shinobis were meant to be out in the field, not looking through microscopes all day, and that employment was often seen as dead end for the bookworms. Minato stopped by the bridge as he looked down toward the stream that went through the city. Not in his wildest dreams that he would have guessed that this happened. Naruto was a brilliant boy. His determination to learn to improve was the most pure that Minato's ever seen, even when he was a child. His perfect solution, supposed to give Naruto a good sensei and give Orochimaru tighter bonds to this village, had backfired greatly on him. However, Naruto was the one that got the blow. He was tainted by association with Orochimaru, and Minato's hesitation to show him kindness, not being there for him, with his mother looking after Kimiko. It seems like Minato dropped his head as he couldn't believe it. Kami-sama, what has his son been going through? Time skip. At 6 o'clock, Naruto decided to go home. They had achieved enough for today. Have discovered the secret behind the poison and start to work on countermeasures. 12 hours of hard work did take its toll, even on trained shinobis. And Naruto didn't want anyone to mess up. When working with highly toxic blood, he decided to take safety first. That meant that they worked in 3 shifts from now on. As he made his way through Konoha, his mind was spinning with all sorts of countermeasures. As he got to the apartment building that he lived in, he fished the keys out of his pocket as he checked the mailbox. Seeing that there was nothing there, he made his way up the stairs. As a cat came running down, it seems the old woman had left the door open once again. His apartment was one of the standardized ones, with about 40 square meters of space. As Naruto had placed in several bookshelves and work desks there was a bedroom and a bathroom, with a sinking toilet renovated and clean. Several lockers were in the hallway, where he kept several things stored away. Straight ahead was the kitchen, with a dining table. He had moved into this apartment about 4 years ago, when he started to earn enough from the missions that his master took him on. He was never comfortable at home, as he felt like an unwanted stranger there. When he arrived, he grabbed the handle as he realized his door was unlocked. As Naruto's body tensed as he started to get ready for battle, as he pulled out his kunai and the poison senbon that he carried at all times, as he flicked out a mirror, as he glanced inside, he couldn't see anything inside, but that didn't mean that they were not there. Assassins. He thought about the possible enemies of Konoha and which faction would benefit from his death. But no, assassins would not leave the door open. A burglar. Was someone stupid enough to break into a shinobi apartment? However, his nose then picked up something. As he sighed, as he put away the weapons and the mirror as well. As he walked inside, he made his way directly towards the kitchen. As he entered, he saw a person sitting at the chair. She was very small, smaller than people her age should be. She was 4'2", vibrant green eyes, and red hair. A round face with whisker marks were also noticeable. A kimono-style vest with black bicycle shorts, as she was slurping down a whole can of instant ramen. Namikaze Kimiko, jinchuuruki of the Kyuubi, Konoha, academy student, and unfortunately, his sister. She slurped down the last of the ramen and looked up. "Hey big brother," she said. "How was work?" "Exhausting," said Naruto as he glanced towards the workbench, as he noticed at least 10 empty ramen cans. "What are you doing in my apartment?" Mom told me I can't eat ramen in the house anymore, she said, as she poured hot water into another. So I figured I'd come and eat here instead, she said as she sat down and started to dig in. Wait. Run that past me again, said Naruto. Are you planning to use my apartment as a storing space for ramen? She looked up with a smile. It's a perfect plan, she said. As she slurped with the ramen, they won't stop me going here, right? And I won't disturb you since you always work, so everyone is happy. Naruto sighed and made his way to the cupboard to get something to drink. However, when he opened it, the avalanche came raining down. As he was thrown to the floor, Kimiko shot to her feet as Naruto was covered by ramen. Big brother, she said, knocking over the ramen that she was eating. As she jumped on top of it and started to dig him out. As his head pushed through, as he looked at her. How much cans did you brought here? As Naruto got up, like the rest of his family, he didn't feel any hate for Kimiko. What he did feel though was annoyance over her personality. She grinned embarrassedly. About 200, she said. As Naruto chopped her over the head, it wasn't hard, but enough to drive his point across. Idiot, he said. Are you planning to live your entire life on this slop? Ramen isn't slop, she said. As Naruto raised his hand again, making her stop. It's a slop, consisting of salt and fat. It's the most useless food, providing nothing healthy. And where did you put the things inside the shelf before, he asked. Kimiko stopped as she was about to rant as she tried to remember. As she opened her mouth and closed it back. As she looked around. As Naruto walked toward the trash can and opened it. Sure enough, the tea that he bought a few weeks ago was snuffed down inside, along with the other things that she cleaned out and threw in here. Kimiko, he said. His voice was calm as she froze up. Come here. She slowly approached him. As Naruto pointed down into the bin. You see this bag of tea there? He asked. Kimiko nodded. That tea cost about 20 ryu a pound, and I had just bought it. As Kimiko flinched, other things as well. The crackers, the rice. You threw my food away. As usual, she never thought before she acted. He could imagine her rushing over here and getting into the house, throwing his things away and filling the cupboard with her ramen. You can take some of my ramen, she said in a tiny voice. I don't like ramen, said Naruto. I like nutritious food, like the food you just throw away. Do you understand? It is like me replacing your ramen with vegetables. Look at me, he said. However, she did not. Look at me, he said. She looked up towards him, her eyes were filled with tears, as her lower lip was trembling, as she now understood what she did. As he reached and patted her on the head, making her calm down. Little thoughtless, impulsive, and energetic Kimiko. She carried her heart on her sleeve. She could go from rage to sadness in seconds. As she looked up towards him, she smiled with a tear running down her face as she wiped away. I'm sorry, big brother, she said. Do you want me to pick it up and clean it off, she asked. You take the ramen cups and stack them properly this time, said Naruto. As Kimiko nodded before she moved off. It was a good thing that all of his things were in steel bags, and not to mention, he had taken out the garbage yesterday. However, Kimiko yeeped as he turned. She had knocked over the ramen that she was eating and it was soaking down into the ground. Naruto sighed as he reached for a cloth. He should have expected this by now. Yes, he really should. Time skip. The moment she stacked the ramen, Naruto told her to go home. Once that was said and done, he locked his place up as he made his way. The moment he told Kimiko that he was gonna visit Anko, she ran away. Kimiko and Anko had met 2 times now, and Anko had terrified the girl so much that every time she heard her name, the girl get back flashbacks. The second time came to mind when Kimiko had called Anko, an old lady, causing the 18-year-old Anko to chase her on Konoha with 2 kunai in hand. As Naruto jumped, arriving towards the top of a building, the neat thing about the bar was, you could not reach it unless you were a shinobi. The owner was eccentric, but the shinobi only was appreciated by many people. As Naruto sunshine over there beside Anko, she turned to look at him with a smirk. Right on time, she said, as they both leaped upwards and made their way on the porch. It looked like Anko was already drinking, as they both balanced and walked into the bar. It was a large circular room. There was around 2 dozen shinobis in the bar. The place was like an oasis. There was an old man playing a shamisen. This was a place that shinobis could retreat to, a place of rest and comforting. As Naruto spotted several people that he knew, In one corner there was Ibiki Marino, as he was leaning back against a wall, several safe bottles next to the table. His face was in that unreadable expression as usual. Further off there was a group of shinobi that Naruto knew, as he could recognize Genma, Aoba, and Radio. Anko plopped herself down near to one of the windows. As she looked up towards Naruto and grinned, "You go get some drinks. I'm the birthday child after all," she said, with a smirk. As Naruto took off his jacket and made his way, he was met by the old woman that run this place. Her name was Maki. How the old woman kept on getting up here, seeing that they had to jump, was a mystery to everyone. "Oh, hello there, Namikaze-san. What can I get you?" she said. "2 bottles of sake," said Naruto. As you remember, Orochimaru used to give them sake many times. The man said that they had to master everything that adults could handle to be able to go on infiltration missions. Naruto had been capable of drinking sake easily at the age of 12. "Toby Kirigan," said Naruto, ordering the warmest sake available. The woman nodded as she went and get them, before she came back with the 2 bottles and the cups. As Naruto balanced the cup on his hand and took the 2 bottles, holding them by the neck. "Yummy," Uncle said as she saw him coming back with them, a big grin. As Naruto opened the first one and poured it, there was actual steam coming from it. The sake was at least at 55 degrees Celsius, meaning that it could burn your tongue. The very name mean hot enough to jump up. Uncle looked towards him with a challenging grin. "Ready?" she asked. The smile on her face said more than 1,000 words, as he instantly got what she meant. "As you wish," he said to her as he took the cup. They hit the cup together before. They downed the sake in the cup, as Naruto felt the burn as it went down his throat. No matter who you were, swallowing sake that quickly was not easily done. Uncle gasped as she started to pound her fist in the table. "Holy shit," she said. "Feels like I just deep throated a oni," she said, as she pounded her fist down. "I don't even know how you would know what that is like," said Naruto. Uncle laughed at that as she poured another in the cup. "Well, not all of us are spending all of our time in the lab. If you ever decide to peek out of your testing tubes, you might discover quite a lot. You might even get laid. I rather unravel the secrets of reality than stick myself into someone and grunt for an hour only to get a small rush of endorphin." Naruto deadpanned as Anko collapsed from laughter. It took a good while for her to get back up again. Her face was red from laughter. "You so have to get laid," she said, as she swigged another. As Naruto did the same, the burning sensation made him tense up a bit. He then looked up towards Anko. "I've gotten laid," he said. "Didn't you know that?" As Anko blinked. "No, I didn't," she said. "The heck? When did that happen?" she said, as she was curious. "It was about 3 years ago," said Naruto. "Orochimaru wanted to complete my infiltration training and dragged me off to a brothel in the capital. It was a high-class place as well. He grabbed hold of one of the older prostitutes, somewhere around 30, I think, even though she looked younger. He told her to show me what it meant to be a man. 1 hour later it was done. Apparently, I'm a natural." As Naruto's voice sounded rather bored, as he took a sip of the sake. This actually worked better when you take small sips." As he looked up towards Anko, she fell forward again, her head smacking against the table. "So you were a virgin that got to screw a high-class whore. You lasted for a goddamn hour and you act like we're talking about newspaper delivery." Anko was almost frightened. How the hell could he remain that impassive? "It was enjoyable," said Naruto. "Don't get me wrong, but I just can't see the fuss about sex all the time. People talk about it all the time. If it's not this, it's that." Anko sighed. "Just get some more booze," she said. As Naruto shaked the bottle, half of it was still filled. "Just get some more. If you're the one I'm boozing out with, I'm gonna need a lot more sake," she said, to make this funny. "You were the one that invited me," said Naruto as he got up. "What do you want?" "Sleet," she said. Naruto sighed. "If you end up in hospital tonight, I'm not accompanying you," he said, as he made his way towards a bar. Sleet was a rather intense sake. As Naruto glanced back towards Anko, she was already taking off her coat. Was she already that drunk, he wondered. As Naruto noticed the group that was sharing the giant bottle earlier was now glancing towards her with an interest. Naruto had half a mind to go and sit with Ibiki since the man kept his eye to himself. However, he was here with Anko. As Naruto got a normal bottle for himself and got this sleep for Anko. "Knock yourself out," he said as he placed it in front of her. "Can you put on back your coat?" he said. "You're embarrassing me." Drink sake, she said as she poured more sake. It helps. The freezing cold sake poured from the bottle and landed in the cup. I was thinking of getting laid tonight, and this way I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. What? Said Naruto. Anko drank the sake down, as goosebumps appeared all over her skin as she widened her eyes. Whoa, she said. This feel like going down on a no, said Naruto. I know what you're about to say, don't say it. But I said no, said Naruto. And put your coat back on, he told her. He wasn't distracted by her lack of clothing. What he was annoyed by it, as Anko started to grin at him. Only if you figure out what 2 birds I'm killing with 1 stone here, she said, as she grinned some more and poured some more sake. Remind me why I subject myself to this. The first is that you hope that people want to sleep with you. However, since you're lazy, you rather strip and hope them come to you, said Naruto. As Anko tilted her head, and what's the next one, she said. Other than irritating me. I don't know, said Naruto. Ding ding ding, she said. She just really wanted to annoy him as she placed back on her coat. She grabbed his cup and poured some of the ice cold sake into it. Let's ride, she said, as she raised her cup. Naruto sighed as he raised his, before they gulped it down. As Naruto was reminded of one of his missions, to the land of snow where he had to swim under the ice-cold water to get to one of his targets, as the sake rushed down his throat. Let me ask you something, Uncle, he said. Okay, she said, only because it's my birthday and I'm in a good mood. Is sex really that important to you, he asked her. He was really curious. Anko's appetite was infamous throughout Konoha, and according to the rumor mill, every bachelor in Konoha had sampled her. That probably meant that a large part of the shinobi bachelors had slept with her. However, he knew how stupid the rumor mill could be, and he also knew the shinobi population numbered about 200,000. That meant 100,000 men. Around 15,000 of them was 18 to 28, which made up bachelors. Even so, he decided to knock off about 3,000 more to make it more manageable, and some of them were married. So 12,000 then. That meant that she had to sleep with someone every night for over 32 years, which was really impossible. If you mean important, then yeah, I love it. Yeah, she said. Why, said Naruto. As I said, it's a rush when you get to the finish of the journey, but it's also exhausting, so I can't see why you would spend 5 times a week having sex, he said. 7 if I can manage, she said. There was no embarrassment in her tone. And I think you kinda got the wrong idea about it all, she said. First of all, I can feel good multiple times. Second of all, with a good partner, I can be on it for hours. Third, there's about 1,000 different ways to do it, and they all make you feel good in different ways. Fourth, getting a good lay made me feel fit and ready for the next day. And 5, I do get lonely sometimes, you know, she said, as a jovial sound was gone from her voice when she said 5. As Naruto realized she was lonely, he has not seen her in any other mood than either sadistic or grinning, so this was a completely different side for him. Lonely. It seems impossible for her. She always took insults and hurtful words, and they slide off her like water. It doesn't make sense though, said Naruto. You'll have to explain this one to me. How does sexual gratification makes up for social isolation? Anko tilted her head with a look, as her look was plain and simple. Are you an idiot? She shook her head. What about this? I feel needed. I feel like there is someone that gives a shit about whether I live or die, even if it's for a few moments. Unlike your family, mine is dead. I don't have any bratty sister worshipping me or hiding things in my home. When I die, there's gonna be one more name added to the memorial stone. And then, after a month, the only thing I'll be remembered as is Orochimaru apprentice. I am fine with that. This is my life, who I am, and what I like to do. However, but if I can feel that there's like for a few seconds that someone would cry when they see my name on the memorial, I'd rather take that than lying alone every bloody night. As she grabbed hold of the first bottle and took a swig, liquid was cool enough so she could do this without burning herself. You get how jealous I am of you sometimes, she said. Your family love you like hell, however, they're only trying to find a way, which is hard to apologize to you for dumping you off to the snake and forgetting about you. But you got your head stuck up your ass so far you can smell your own breath, and you won't even look up from your microscope to see what is right in front of you, she said. This again, said Naruto. I understand what you mean, but why? Do I owe it to everyone to fix things up with my family? Is it because it's impolite to everyone in the family that I do not care for mine? When did my private life become an official scrutiny, said Naruto. Yeah, it's such a burn to have people love you and accept who you are. You arrogant prick, she said. What the hell do you think will happen? That you would lose your ability to do research? Are you only able to do one thing at a time? What about breathing? You have to stop staring at your microscope to do that. As Naruto saw where this was heading. However, he had many things to lose. The knowledge, the things that he has gathered from Orochimaru, the things that he was doing if he got too close to his family. There was a risk of it being discovered. I never said it's a burden, but it's not something I want. I simply don't care. I have my own life, and they're not involved in that. Bullshit, she said. You're more screwed up than me, Naruto. We were that psycho apprentice over a decade both. You remember how it was, don't you? You seriously think you'd walk away without any issues after that? I remember you cried in fear, more than I can even count, and then one day you just turned into this block of ice. Empty. Out of nowhere. If you're trying to tell me that you don't got some issues from that, you're the biggest liar in Konoha. Anko, don't single me out, said Naruto. We're shinobis. Do you think this work lends us mental health, he asks. That's what I'm saying, you idiot. You're already in a business that will screw you up mentally. And if you don't have someone important to you, when everything goes to shit, you're just gonna get worse. You're already too afraid to get hurt, so you become a machine that holds your family away from you. Stop ignoring the fact that you have issues. And see them. Aren't scientists supposed to see the bigger picture? As Anko had no idea how wrong she was. Naruto wasn't a hurt little kid, or a broken victim. He was the man that conspired to kill his master to take over his underground laboratory network, and he was preparing to manipulate his father for more funding. She was seeing him as some kind of child, not the person he really is. Still, it worked in his favor. Her blindness would make it easier for him to hide what he was doing. Perhaps you should focus on your problem instead. He tried to turn it around. I'm a grown man. I can handle this myself. Shouldn't you be the one doing something about your problems? Why do you think I'm drinking, she said. Now that sounds like a damn good solution to me. A bottle landed on the table as the both of them turned. As it was the 5 shinobis, Genma, Yamashiro, Reido, and Katetsu and Izumo. All of them look really drunk. Mind if we sit down too, said Reido. You've got a present for me. It's my birthday, you see, Anko said, making the group look at each other. Anko looked at them with an open expression. Genma smiled though and pushed the bottle towards her. Happy birthday to you, Anko, he said, as all the men started to wish her happy birthday, as they went into a drunken song. As Naruto was sober enough to realize that she was blushing. Once the song ended, she sat up as she took the bottle and lifted it. When she brought it back down, she had drank half of the contents. As cheers rose from the other shinobi, she slammed her hand on the table. You all pass, she said. Sit down and let's get ready to party. Slave, she said, looking towards Naruto. More drinks. As Naruto sighed, a piece of this was kind of cathartic. Because he knew from this point out, well, it was nothing but a drunken mess. And he found it rather amusing. Time skip. Naruto woke up with a groan as he tried to remember what happened last night. Anko had dragged more people over as they started to drink. She was overwhelmed by when they sang to her, as Naruto could see she was on the verge of crying. However, she pushed that away with partying, and she then forced him to drink as well. The whole thing became crazy. It was by 12 o'clock Naruto remembered Anko was all over Genma, and then he doesn't remember anything else. The last thing he remembered though was not that, it was Izumo and Katetsu saying that he was a true shinobi. Their words were slurring, and that he didn't deserve the treatment he was getting from the rest of the village. He doubted they would have said this without that much liquor inside their system though. As Naruto was dehydrated, he had a headache. As Naruto made his way to the fridge, he got everything that he needed on the workbench as he prepared something. As Naruto's hangover cure was ready in about half an hour, 2 bacon and egg cheese sandwich replenished the lower salt levels in his body, a glass of orange juice and a glass of milk to rehydrate the body and gain a healthy dose of vitamin C and calcium. A 3rd glass of baking soda dissolved into water for the nausea. As Naruto sat down and chomped down on the food. After he was finished, he made his way to the bathroom, and he took a cold shower to reactivate himself. He was already feeling better as he got to clean up opening the windows and checking everything. As he had to go for his checkup. Once every week he had to go by the hospital to get examined by Rin, one of his father's students, and one of the best medical ninja within Konoha. After his master's death, it was the best situation to alleviate some of the suspicions on him by agreeing to get checkup. His alien metabolism and his body functions unnerved some people, and there was some concerns about what Orochimaru had done to him. As much as Naruto would like to claim otherwise, he himself did not understand everything that was done to him. He could figure it out, however they were too occupied at the lab to do that at the moment. As Naruto put on his snow white shirt and the maroon sash, dressing however he liked, made him stand out from the rest of the shinobis. Getting out the sky was kind of gloomy, however there was no rain. About half an hour later, Naruto made his way towards the hospital after taking a brief walk around Konoha. He was right on time. His session with Rin began at 9. As Naruto entered the waiting room and sat down, as he never looked forward to these checkups. It wasn't that Rin was unskilled, no, it was her meddling. Rin had seen her younger teammates died, and Uchiha that loved her. The whole thing had deeply affected her, and she instantly retired from active duty, requesting to be transferred to the hospital. Nowadays she was respected and second in command in the medical hospital, second in skill and clout compared to the head of the hospital. Yet the scars after a dead teammate was still there, and ever since they began their little sessions, ever since she started to check up on him, she was trying to push him back toward his family. She couldn't stand seeing people that should be close or far from each other, and it reflected in these meetings a lot. As Rin was convinced that Naruto was a hurt, miserable child, hoping to get back with his family, just like Anko, how wrong they were. Her warm brown eyes filled with kindness as she appeared, with her warm smile. "Here we go again," said Rin, as Naruto made his way after her. Arriving inside, Naruto pulled on his shirt, knowing what is to come. The white shirt was open at the front, giving him the ability to fold it down on the sides. "So, how has the week been, Naruto-kun?" she asked as he sat down on the bed in the examiner room. "Tiresome. With the blood ninja on the loose, we've been running ragged to try and find countermeasures. If we say that we're hard-pressed to find a solution, they think that we're being lazy." "As always," Rin said. "It's a pity they don't understand." As she turned the syringe, he held out his arm as she pushed her chakra into the needle. As it took about a half a minute to get through his skin, it seemed that the subdermal skin had thickened, she said. "We should check up on that," as she took some of his blood. As she covered the spot where she pierced the tissue once she pulled it out, as Naruto took it and held it against his skin, she put the blood sample in the testing machine. As Naruto glanced at the wound, "Within 10 seconds," he said, as it was already closed. His regeneration remained unchanged, he knew that already, but it was best for her to make her own assumptions. People believed and trusted what she said, not so much with him. That means the regenerations remain the same. "Let's take a look under your skin." As she took a small circular piece and placed against his skin. "Are you ready?" she asked. As Naruto nodded, knowing what to come. With a sharp twist she dug the razor edge into his skin. He could feel the pain, however he did not even flinch. He was used to the dull pain receptors. As she removed the tube, the patch of skin that she cut away, falling inside. As she looked underneath it, there was pale, white snake skin. Under his own skin. As they moved around, as he moved his muscles, he still wasn't used to this, the reminder of his unnaturalness. As Ren pressed a scalpel against the snake's skin, she pressed it quite hard, however. The scalpel started to bend. The skin did not move in the slightest. His human skin then started to regenerate at a fast rate and cover it back up like nothing just happened. "It's strengthened alright. I could probably pierce it with a sword if I strike hard enough. But normal weapons would just scratch your outer skin, not the one underneath." "Were you planning to take any tissue samples?" Naruto asked. "I don't think so," she said. "At least not now. It might be worth though doing a couple of MRIs. Still, there's no panic, you can go on with your everyday life," she said. As Naruto was surprised that she hadn't talked about his personal life yet. Well, it seems like he talked too much. The next words that came out of her mouth. "So, how has your life been other than work?" she asked. As she picked up a notepad that she started to scribble on. "I heard that Midarashi-san had her birthday yesterday." Rin did not like Anko. She thought the woman was too unstable and too violent. However, Naruto had already figured that out, and yet she did not show it. She simply smiled. The rumor mill seemed to be working quickly here, said Naruto. Yes, it was her birthday. She dragged me off to Maki's. Did any of the people that we were drinking with come here with alcohol poisoning? Rin chuckled at his question, Sir Naruto-kun, but those things are confidential after all. As Naruto already expected that. How was it, she asked. It was enjoyable, said Naruto. I'm not much of a drinker like her, but it was cathartic to do it. Cathartic? How, said Rin. If you get too bogged down thinking about something, you will freeze mentally, said Naruto. Since you're too deeply entrenched. However, things like these free up the mind, said Naruto. Good thinking, Naruto-kun, she said. There are many people twice your age as yet to understand that. Many people twice my age are not me, said Naruto. Be nice, she said. Now, let's just check your lungs and hearts, and wrap this up. As a cold metal landed on Naruto's chest. May I ask you something, Naruto-kun, she said. What, said Naruto. Do you ever feel uncomfortable in your body, she asked. As Naruto was caught off guard by that question. What brought this up, he said, clearing his throat. Just a question, she said. With all that has happened to you, I thought it would be a good idea to ask. As Naruto started to wonder, was he? He had never thought about it before. No was the first answer. I'm not sure was the second one that popped into his head. Looking down towards his arm with the skin and full heal, he was unable to come up with a satisfied answer. I don't know, he told her. A surprise happy as a shinobi, and I got you to check me up. Furthermore, the benefits are massive as a shinobi for me. And even if it look unpleasant, that's not enough to weigh me out, said Naruto. Even if people do think I look unpleasant, why do you think people think of you that way? I'm a snake, said Naruto. Last time I checked, the Orochimaru style was not the popular one. I am more or less a carbon copy of that man. And everyone that looks at me are reminded of him. Yes, I think I'm considered creepy around here. I'm not so sure about that, actually. I've heard other people say otherwise, said Rin. Yeah, well, idiots are 13 a dozen, said Naruto. There are people that think that Madara was a hero as well. All you can do is hope that they grow up. Are they idiots because they don't agree with you, she asks. Sensei, think, said Naruto. I am thinking, she said, and I don't understand what you mean. You're you, not Orochimaru, and people know how much you sacrificed for Konoha. Why are you so insistent that they should only see your master and not you? As Naruto actually could not find the answers, he leaned forward. A chuckle then escaped his lips. A much appreciation. Huh? She said. A much appreciation, the tuning that we spoke yesterday. They had enough appreciation for me. And I never doubt that I would get acknowledgement as a shinobi. But that's not the real issue. Do you want to speak about the real issue, she asks. It's the fact that when most of Konoha looks at me, all they see is a 7-year-old child. Boo, poor suffering little boy. What a tragic life. How much he has suffered. But I don't, he said as he got to his feet. I don't stutter. I don't regret what happened. I'm not unhappy. And I don't need a shoulder to cry on, he said. Then what do you feel about it, she asks. As Naruto was a bit stumped, what could he say now? The only thing that he felt about Orochimaru was triumph over success, and contempt that the despicable maniac was dead. Yet how the hell could he tell her that? That he had conspired to kill Orochimaru and take over his organization. That he was glad that it succeeded and he was giddy over the possibilities that were in front of him. Happy, said Naruto. It was technically the truth. Rin raised the eyebrow as Naruto clarified. For all that Orochimaru was, he was never like a father to me. He was a source of knowledge. He challenged me, he drove me to improve and guide me to become who I am. Yet he did it for his purposes only. I, the person I am right now, was never a part of his thinking. He used me, and I used him. There was no love between us, and he betrayed Konoha. He did all those things that you heard about. He deserved everything that came to him. He betrayed the village, and he deserved all that he got, said Naruto. What about the things that you stand for, she asks. Science is a tool to serve man. Sometimes there has to be sacrifices, but it can never violate the basic foundation of man, said Naruto. And what are those, she asks. For one, free will, said Naruto. A shinobi can choose to drop out of the academy. A shinobi can refuse to choose missions. He can choose to retire, of course, there might be consequences, but he can still do it. Prison or banishment might be a better option, but he can still act on it. Those people in those labs, they were never given a choice. They were just taken by a twisted man who lusts for power, and he used them, taking away their free will. So, he had to die, said Naruto. So, do you feel that the human experiments in themselves was not wrong? Or do you feel what is wrong is the way that he conducted it, by taking away their free will? Yes, said Naruto. With proper surveillance, people that volunteer themselves as subjects, with surveillance and medical attention, you could minimize the risk, so I don't see any reason to completely forbid it. You think, she said. Yes, said Naruto once more. Of course there are people that will say no, you can't. It's an abomination to nature. We were abominations to nature as soon as we began wielding chakra. The sage of the sixth path is said to create the moon. What the hell is natural about that? So yes, we're walking into dangerous territory, but is it a reason to stop? It has never been a reason before, so why now? We're not at the end of history. Some people believe that we're at the end, but we're not. We're right in the middle of it. So what is your view on it, she asks. They view what I do an abomination, said Naruto. But I'm making sure that not only Konoha live and thrive tomorrow, it will make it stand for another 100 years. And the only reason that they don't treat me like my master is because they're too busy pitying me. And I really feel annoyed by this. I understand, she said, but yes, you told me that a pair of Chunin came to respect you, correct? Might that not mean that there's more people out there that respect you as well? I'm not gonna hold my breath, said Naruto. Why not? Because people are stupid. And Konoha has put a pride in despite all I do is murder, poison, torture, thief. That's all fine when it's done for Konoha, but the things I do aren't. I will never apologize for how I serve Konoha, and they will hate me for it. You don't think you can change how they look at you, she asks. I'm not gonna apologize, I have better things to do than grovel in front of narrow-minded idiots. Do you have to grovel, she said. You're right. They're wrong to condemn you, but unless you give them a chance, how can they know? Science is hard for men to understand, and if you give them a chance, I think many can come over to understand. Naruto stopped himself, as he realized what he was about to say. He then fixed his statement. I shouldn't have to, he said. He knew that there was pettiness in his tone, but frankly, he didn't really care. Making Rin sigh. But guys, we'll be ending something right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on the Anime Prince, Anime King 3. And yes guys, this is Anime King. I do have 4 channels. 4 channels that I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. See you guys soon. Peace guys.